Street, down Buffalo Street. Lonely hearts don't go unnoticed. And the world looks fine to me.
Well, what we've got here is downtown Seward, obviously. The start line for the race, we're on 4th Avenue here, is right here.
I've always been a huge fan of races with a lot of history. This race in particular has tons of history.
Yeah, bar bet between two guys that said, you know, I can make it to the top of that mountain in an hour, and the other guy said, yeah, I don't think so, buddy. So they got a bet, people got around, and they ran to the top, and they almost did it. The first year I ran the senior race, there was probably about 70, 75 of us total, men and women. And we had no limit back then because you didn't need a limit. It's always pretty much looked the same. Obviously, there's more people now. Spectators are huge. The one thing like about this weekend that you'll be seeing is 4th of July is falling on a weekend basically, so it's a long weekend. The weather is predicted good. This town will be so packed with people, it'll just be mind-blowing. I believe right now we're at about 70, 72 degrees. Think of running up this street feeling as warm as you do walking. And then climb that mountain. And see, that's the thing with the heat, is from the base to halfway in that brush, there's no air movement. It's just stifling hot in that brush. It's different every year. The trails are a little different. The rock conditions are a little different. Snow, some years we have a lot of snow up there. This year, obviously, we have none. The junior race goes approximately halfway. We call it halfway. They go to halfway, turn around, come back down. Other than that, it's all exactly the same course, even for the adults, except for the adults, both men's and women's, goes all the way to the top. Once you get to the top, there's kind of a grassy field. There's one big rock that sits there, and you have to go up and around the rock and then back down. This year, I really expect to see, like, say, the top 5 ladies. I expect them to have the 5 fastest times that's ever been seen in this race, if conditions are good.
I like the title of Alaska's Toughest Mom. However, I have to say that there's probably an 84-year-old woman somewhere living in a dry cabin in Alaska, still splitting her own wood. And I'm sure she was a mother somewhere along the line, and she's way the heck tougher than me. I don't know that I place a lot of pressure on myself from being last year's champion. There were a lot of people that said, oh, you know, she won because none of the Olympians showed up. She sort of got a freebie. But I did use that somewhat as a driving force to help me train this year. You know, because I took a step back and I thought, okay, I don't want to be known as, you know, the girl that only won because nobody else was there. You know, there were a lot of days out there when, in January, when I might rather be snuggled up by the fire, drinking hot chocolate, I was out on a 20-mile run with a frozen camelback, you know, because I knew that my competition's out there training, albeit on skis. They're out there, you know, training for the Olympics.
I definitely associate myself as a skier, first of all, and a mountain runner second. The thing I love about skiing the most is that there's cross-training. Alaska, to me, it's one of the best places for trail running in the world or the country. I mean, the Chugach, the Front Range is just, you know, 3,000-foot peak after 3,000-foot peak, and you can do a different one every day of the week. There's my neighbor and training partner, Najibi Quinn, down the street. She's a fantastic runner. It's going to be her rookie year.
I've heard this for years. Oh, you do mountain races in Alaska? Yeah, I'm a mountain runner. Oh, do you do mountain marathon? No, I've never done that. And they like, oh yeah. And they like walk off, you know? So this is the creme de la creme.
In the heat, with you getting dehydrated and whatnot, kind of being out of it a little bit could become a reality.
2009 was probably the most memorable year for me on the mountain, even though I don't remember all of it. I think I was leading at the top. I was leading halfway down the mountain, and I actually passed out in front of the emergency room, which is conveniently located right on the course.
People have actually come off this mountain and gone right in those doors. I have in practice.
Because of our location, that may be a blessing or a curse, depending on how you look at it.
Well, I guess what I had was exertional rhabdomyolysis. Most people get it from football or car accidents. The endurance aspect of exertional rhabdomyolysis is going up the mountain, running down the mountain, which is the crash, and having your muscles just literally rip and tear. In Mount Marathon, they have this rule that if you don't finish the race, you can't race the following year. So 2009 was only my second year. I hadn't won the race, which is one way to get automatic re-entry. I hadn't competed in the race for 10 years, which I believe is another way to get automatic re-entry. So I'm lying in the emergency room with an IV drip in my arm, and against the doctor's orders, I checked myself out. Because I wanted, by golly, I wanted to run the next year. I walked across the finish line, officially finished 212th, and then checked myself back into the emergency room for another 3 bags of IV fluid, and I wasn't released until later that night.
Mount Marathon is a pretty dangerous and high-risk course or path, even from a general hiking path.
Don't even sugarcoat that. The mountain is very dangerous. The lower part in particular, but you can trip over a rock up above coming down at breakneck speed and, roll an ankle. And I've sprained my ankles so many times I can't even count how many times. Oh, and look at this group. Hey, hey. How's it going? Hey, Ricky?
We were just trying to figure out your theme song.
My theme song? It's Flipper, faster than lightning.
My name's Ricky Gates. I'm from Colorado. My mom finished second in 1969, and like mother, like son, I finished second 45 years later.
I don't see any other reason why Ricky Gates would be coming back to Alaska, except for to basically say what I kind of thought all along. Like, he could have won that race. He could have set the record last year.
I took the lead maybe 10 or 15 minutes into the race, held on to that to the top of the mountain, and then Eric took the lead back. So I kept chasing him, got to the bottom of the mountain and caught my toe and fell, dislocated my shoulder, got up, closed down to about 8 seconds. But obviously I needed more time or more distance in the race. I think some people were surprised at how I ran the race last year, but the truth is that I grew up in the mountains, and this is the terrain that I'm most comfortable with.
I won Mountain Marathon in 2012, and it meant a lot to me. Last year, I really thought I was going to not only win, but I thought I was going to get the record. I didn't think Eric Strabel was going to get the record. I thought that was my thing. I was definitely interviewed by all the news stations and the newspaper, and then it was just that pressure of like, wow, you're going to repeat. No, I'm not going to repeat. I'm going to set the record. And like going under a starting line like that is, there's nothing but failure. With Spartan racing, I've raced 19 times and not one time in Alaska. There's a certain swagger that comes from that where it's like, oh, Mountain Marathon's gonna feel not relaxed, but I think I won't have the, maybe the nerves.
I've raced a lot of mountains in Europe and the States and South America and in New Zealand. With this mountain, it's a little bit different because there's just a full-on guts factor. It's about who has the more guts at the end of the day. And I would say last year, Eric Strabel absolutely had more guts coming down that mountain.
After my 8th place, the year after I first won, and I realized, you know, what if I put all the motivation I have for this race into the next 360 days? And that's what I did.
You guys just come off the hill?
Yeah, I checked it out a little bit.
There you go.
Yep.
A little different than last year.
Yeah,
Always is a little different. Yeah, super bony.
Better trail.
Better, you think?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, except for about that top 150 meters.
Yeah.
That's a little rough. Of course, the gully's always a little rough, but
I was going to say, except for that downhill.
yeah, except for that downhill. But Denali wants it.
Really?
Yeah. Well, after she just finished that college career in California.
My dad, flip fall digger, Mr. Mount Marathon. I kind of actually grew up on the mountain. I love Seward. I love that mountain. I made it known that I wanted to be the princess of the mountain, so some people know me by that, or they know me by my famous YouTube video of me falling down a cliff to get 5th place, so it was worth it.
This right here is Glory Rock. You may have seen photos of people like Brian Stoker, AKA Birdman, in all his feathers and glory, standing here like this. The crowd loves it. My daughter likes Glory Rock.
I was crazy in college, but I've calmed down and I've taken it more like this is my second chance at running. This time last year, I was at a party. I wasn't running the mountain. I was doing other things. I think I was so scared from when I got hurt and walked away that like I just was trying everything and anything. I should have never walked away. I get emotional when I think about it, but I'm back. And it was just such a hard battle that I tried so hard and I failed. I failed so bad, and I think I still think myself as a failure. And so, especially this race, I used to be this great child runner, this kind of star almost. I never saw it, but now that I look back at like my scrapbooks, I'm like, damn, Denali, you didn't even know how like you had it all. And so Mount Marathon to me this year is more about like trying to find who that girl was, and I want her back.
I obviously have been training to win this race, but I do place a lot of emphasis on improving myself and improving my own times. And so for me, I want a good time. I don't just want to win.
I would love to win. You know, that's no, you know, that's not a secret. And there are a bunch of people that are in that same boat, which is why it's going to be so exciting.
For all I know, everybody's been training their asses off, and I'm going to finish 6th place this year, or 10th place, and that's totally fine by me. What I require out of myself is that I give it 100%. That's the #1 reason that I love racing, is that it's just this, it's your moment of zen. I mean, there's probably much less painful ways to achieve, you know, quietness of the mind, but it's not all painful.
Okay. All the rookies, remember, you have to be here for the safety meeting. You cannot be gone for the safety meeting. You have to be here. We're actually going to have some physical therapists kind of put on a taping demonstration. So
He loves this race. He's a committee member. He wasn't. He came back. He's now the safety guy. What does he always say in the safety meeting?
if you have not been up the mountain one time, go home. Do not do that to the people that have to take care of you if you get into trouble.
And he is so serious about that statement that he says it twice.
Once again, if you have not been up the mountain at least one time and know what you're doing, go home. I can't be any straighter about that. You don't belong here, period. Welcome everybody. Let's have a good time tomorrow. I'm sorry, it's the way I am. We got the video real quick. It's just a few minutes long, so stick around for that. We'll get it going right now.
If you're watching this video, you're most likely just hours away from competing in what may be the most exciting foot race imaginable. But with all of that comes unavoidable risks. This is, after all, a mountain.
The worst thing I've seen, watching somebody run the down trail and seeing a boulder coming down the middle of the mountain at the same time and narrowly missing the runner.
Take a look at this rock that struck a young spectator on the cliff. He nearly fell. He ended up with a nice bump on his head, but it could have been much worse.
You'll note I'm wearing gloves. I don't look at the mountain without putting gloves on. I mean, you can see this here. That's what this hill is. So, you always got to be thinking total safety. Your speed is pretty good. I mean, even if you're not trying to go fast because of the angle of the dangle, so to say, you're wheeling and dealing down here pretty good. And basically you're trying not to do a face plant. People have died on the bottom part of this mountain, not during the race, but just recreational-wise.
If you come down on a stretcher, you'll be missing out on that awesome experience.
You just have to decide on who you're racing. Are you racing the mountain? Are you racing yourself? Or are you racing the people around you?
Years past, I haven't really enjoyed those little other parts that make it so magical for everybody else because I'm so focused on myself and how I'm going to do and am I going to set a record or am I going to win? That kind of thing almost takes away from the fun.
In this community, I mean, people have high expectations of me. And so, when I put a bib on, I like to be well prepared.
My little 2-year-old, one of our hill repeat sessions, was sitting at the top on a log. I was on, I don't know, a 5th or 6th hill repeat, and I wasn't feeling that great that day, kind of a little sick and not really wanting to give it everything I had. And he's sitting up there clapping his little hands, "Go, Mama, dig, Christy, dig." And you look at him and you're like, yeah, all right, buddy, okay, Mama can do this. I think to myself, as I am hiking up these mountains, gosh, look at how much everybody else has given to get me here where I am. The least I can do is give it my very best.
Be here with me always. You know where you're going to. And me, I talk, but even saints have to use a politician's tongue sometimes.
Well, I mean, the day started off with Allie winning the overall race.
I mean, I'm up at the base of the cliff and suddenly over my radio said, yeah, Allie won the race. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, she won for the girls. And then somebody on the radio said, no, she outright won the race. She beat young Mr. Marshall to the finish. I'm looking at the radio going, are you kidding me? And it's never happened, never.
I run cross country and track, and I do a little bit of mountain running, pretty much just mountain marathon. I also play basketball and soccer. I go to Kenai High School. I have a sister, and her and I love to make pancakes a lot because pancakes are the perfect food. That pretty much sums it up. Just starting out, I was like, this is my last year to run the junior race, and I really want to leave with a bang. Or there are so many times that I just wanted to slow down, or I just wanted to stop, take a break, but I just kept telling myself to keep pushing because I knew that if I wanted the result that I desired, then I would have to push myself. And then when Michael Marshall passed me on the down, I tried to stay right with him, which was really good because he's a really fast downhill runner. When I came off the mountain, everyone was like, oh, pass him, you can do it. And I had never been behind the police car on the way to the finish.
She was striding out, she had her eyes half closed, and I could tell, I knew where she was at. I thought, you know, I've been there and I've done that, and she's digging deep right now. And I think that's pretty awesome and pretty outstanding for a girl that doesn't have to dig to win anything.
Well, she absolutely demolished the girls' record, her own record, which when she set that record, it absolutely demolished the old record.
Taylor and I were both taught to give our all in everything we do, and so I think that's a huge part of Mount Marathon, is just the mental aspect of it.
Got to the bottom of the mountain, stood in line at the bottom like I do quite a bit anymore because I'm so far back in the pack.
Once we got up to about the halfway mark, that was my point in the race where I was gonna finally loosen the reins and let things go.
We dropped Ricky, which is really reassuring as an athlete when you know that when you're dropping people, you know the pace is good. And I looked at pictures that are being posted now, and I see myself smiling as I'm taking water for my daughter, and my wife's like, how's it going? I'm like, oh, it's going really good, how are you? And she's like, couldn't believe I was like making a joke like that in the middle of the race. I think I had about 10 seconds on him as we crested the top, and I knew that I wasn't going to win unless he had an accident. We came off the mountain and almost immediately he passed me. There's nothing I could do. I couldn't train harder, I can't get faster, I can't get younger, I can't slam dunk basketball, and I can't beat Strabo on that downhill.
God, talk about a guy that's got his head screwed on straight. You know, as a father, I couldn't ask for any better than a son-in-law for sure.
We met a few years ago at the 4th of July.
2011.
2011.
Eric had won that year. I was injured.
I knew who you were. I knew you had won a bunch of the junior Mount Marathon races, and I think that year, yeah, something just clicked.
Well, the way I kind of understand it is Eric's kind of been in love with cute little Denali ever since she was pretty young.
Every day, like when we go out for a hike, it just becomes that much more meaningful to share the whole experience with, and it's much more, I guess, exciting to go out there and give it the best that I have, because I get to share it with her.
It was just kind of a battle between me and Jim Shine down the mountain.
Everyone, no matter who they were, came to the point in their race where their body has nothing left to give. And for me, it was about halfway down the mountain, and suddenly I went into damage control. If I mentally broke down, I would just like curl up underneath a tree in the fetal position, and that would be at the end of it. The worst nightmare, worst thing that could ever happen is to, you know, have a bad crash and not make it to the finish line, let alone being able to walk. You know, I have greater things to get to the finish line for, and so. There was nothing as sweet as seeing her again and having water, you know, sprayed down on my back and neck and head, and it's not something that I like to remember. Actually, it was very painful. Yeah. I mean, we have photos, you know, which that's enough.
I kept pushing and pushing to try to catch Matthias, but he was running strong and I was running strong, and I just couldn't close it at all, and there it was, and finished in third.
I ran for 4th place, and you know, I know that people had the race of their lives and they came in 20th, and so I can't, I wouldn't take anything away from anybody running for any place in the race.
Most people make excuses. They would say, geez, just so you guys know, I had the flu or I had a stomach bug. Clapping 5 coming into 4th place, I was pretty impressed that he did that. I would have been like, get me out of here. I hate Alaska.
I like coming up here, and I feel like I've got a lot of friends, and I've hardly known anybody up here for all that long, but I've been just treated so well in the past couple of years that it's really comfortable. So.
Felt like I was having the better down I've had in quite some time. I had forgotten to take my gloves with me for the first time ever, and I got a pretty nasty gash in my hand on the way down, and so I was bleeding pretty good. And I had a good finish, and then my wife told me later on that I was slower than I thought coming down, but that's okay. It felt good. I was hoping to break 108, which, like I said, is nothing to write home about, but for my fitness, that's what I figured I could do this year. I ran 107.52.
Strable's, he's a gentleman and a champion, and yeah, he definitely earned another win for himself.
I had a little strut going on. Yeah, that's my future son-in-law. Yep, sure is. Yeah, no, Eric's, he's 100% class guy.
I think the mountain and the conditions pretty much let everyone know who was boss, and it was the mountain.
Yeah, the mountain won. The mountain won.
In a year like this year where it was really warm and sunny, it was great from a spectator perspective, but certainly that added an element that's not typically there for racers. Heat exhaustion, dehydration, those sorts of issues.
2009 was so bad, and I saw the forecast. It was sun, high 70s. I actually went and submerged myself in the river entirely. I know Strable did that in 2009 in the men's race after seeing me pass out.
I wasn't nervous. I even asked my mom, I'm like, Mom, when you won and when you did good, how did it feel? And she just said, I felt ready. And I was like, I feel ready. And I realized that I was laughing and smiling, and I was just what I wanted to be.
For me, lining up with all those females, it was just empowering. It was awesome. It was just standing there and just the countdown, anticipating that. It felt so good that at one point I'm like, oh my God, nobody's with me. Am I going too fast? It doesn't feel fast. I'm like, okay, back up. So I waited. Okay, here comes Christy. Here comes Holly. I'm like, okay, this will be our pace.
Jeeves, she did a great move. Like right before we got to the mountain, she kind of pulled back in third and let us go on the routes. And then she took this this turn to go up the cliff.
I'm usually holding back at that point, and instead my legs just sort of felt like bleh.
And the first thing that happened was I went up the routes, stuck my foot in like this little kind of handhold, and then my foot was facing this way, and then I just went up.
Looked over, and the girls were probably about 8 seconds behind me. So I was like, okay, here we go. Let's get the race going.
I was looking up at Najeeb, just making sure she didn't get too far away, and then realized that I was feeling pretty comfortable behind Christy, and I needed to make a move, at least go catch Jeeves.
Holly's a competitor. She's been competing for a long time. She knows what she's doing. She didn't walk by me. She ran by me. I remember thinking to myself, there's your tow rope. You want to hang on, you better go.
Holly caught me a little past Squirrel, somewhere between Squirrel and the halfway point. She was like, come on, Jeeves, go with me. Let's pull away from her. And I literally thought, have fun. Have fun up there.
It's kind of scary breaking away, that early on your own. You never know if it's too early, too soon.
Physically, whether it was the weather or what, just I didn't have it. I could see Christy gaining on me, and I just kind of started losing any sort of ability to hike aggressively at all.
From that point, I just kept stepping weirdly, and I had to backtrack a couple times because I was like, not that way, Denali. Like, what are you doing? And like, trying not to get down on myself because I'm a really mean person to myself. So I was like, just stay in control. One day, I was walking to class and I almost fell down the stairs. My old lady knees just gave out. I woke up in pain, like it felt like someone was just taking a hammer, and it wasn't just my knee anymore, it was like all the leg, the hip, like a car had just hit me. And I have been hit by a car on a run before, so I know what that feels like. At the time I was young, so first almost breaking a 5-minute mile to running, I think I ran a 19-minute mile. And that right there was just, I mean, I couldn't handle it. I got into drinking, into drugs, into partying. I was such a noob. I didn't know that, like, if you took a certain substance and then you drank, like, you didn't feel it until, like, afterwards. I mean, like, it was crazy. Some nights I didn't even know how I got home. Someone had tipped my coach off, and she thought it was just pot. And I just said, I've done cocaine, I've done meth, I've done things I don't even know what name. And she literally cried. And I'm like, I'm sorry. People don't understand when you go through withdrawals, it's like, it's mentally and it's physically, and there's nothing I can do. I mean, I'm in the best shape of my life, but like, there's nothing I can do about like what happens up here. And I mean, so it's just a battle that I'm going through.
You can get up there and you feel like you might as well be by yourself. You know, these 40,000 people, where are they?
And I watched her dance up the top, and then I watched her run down, and then I looked behind me and Christy was gaining on me.
I honestly thought on my climb up the mountain that I may have made a fool out of myself because I was certainly not showing up. I was gonna, prove those people wrong, that I can race with the Olympians and I can run with these girls. When I look at how far I've come in 3 years and I think about how much training these girls have done and the quality of the training and the coaching that they have. I don't have a coach, I coach myself. I could show you a picture of me less than 3 years ago that I look like the Goodyear blimp, 9.5 months pregnant with my last baby boy. And I remember starting off with 3-mile runs, having a hard time going 9-minute miles. It's just little baby steps, and they may be a baby step or two ahead of me, but I'm catching up, and I'm catching up fast.
I knew she was going to pass me, and she passed me very close to the top.
When I dropped off, one of the first things that I did was my feet went out from under me, and I went skidding on my backside.
She hit the shale. Then she hit her ass, then she slid, bounced up, and raced downhill. Told me after the race she had fallen 6 times.
I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I get my kicks on the mountain, and where I get my kicks is not busting my tail up the mountain. I get my kicks busting my tail down the mountain.
Growing up, I just always felt like I was mediocre. I never really felt like I had any talent. But I guess the thing that I failed to mention is that in 2009, when I was laying in the emergency room, that's when I had the epiphany that I wanted to go after the Olympic team. Having led You know, the Olympics of Alaska, the biggest race for 3/4 of the way, I just wanted more. That's a magical moment where you go from that silence of just your breath and hearing the rocks shift under your feet in the water to just this explosion of noise and people cheering, you know, when all of a sudden they can see you.
I mean, she looked pretty good on the down, and she was over a minute ahead of Christy Marvin, and I thought, oh, she's got this in the bag. She'll win by quite a bit.
When I hit the road, I remember hearing my husband, Ben, say, you know, you got her, Holly is dying. She's 38 seconds on you right now, but you can make that up. I just started picking it up, picking it up, picking it up, and then I came around the corner off the dirt on the pavement and I saw Holly for the first time. And I went, aw, snap.
And I was down helping in the finishing chute. They said it was Holly coming down the street, and I'm looking up the street going, that isn't Holly, because this person was not running like Holly runs. She was about to collapse.
If you ever want to do something to give your competition confidence in themselves, look back over your shoulder. And I saw Holly not look back once, but like 6 times as I ran down the road. And I remember thinking of my little guy, Isaac, and thinking, all right, dig, mama, dig. The finish line came just a few feet too soon for me and came just a few feet early enough for Holly.
Some people are like, oh, a win's a win, whether you win by a second or a minute. And I'm like, well, yeah, it's kind of true. I just wish it was with a little bit more grace.
There's the girls that run down the road and they're high-fiving and they're hurrahing and they're so happy. I felt like I could not run down that road. And then you round the corner and then there's this hill, and it is a hill, and people are gonna laugh because I know it's nothing. The road probably goes up like a degree. I felt like I had to completely shift into like the toughest like survival mode. I'm like, get up the hill, you know, and it's not even a hill.
Sort of regret seeing the scene at the finish, because seeing those people come off the mountain so changed, like emotionally, their bodies were extremely exhausted and wrecked.
They stopped calling off who was going around the rock at the top. I'm still the dad, I still worry. I was hoping she hadn't got an injury, you know, that she hadn't broken a leg or something like that. I needed to hear that she was okay.
I didn't watch anyone else finish really. I just kind of hugged the girls, you know, Christy and Holly.
Christy's down split was amazing. I mean, I didn't see exactly where it ranked with the men, but I think it was maybe like within the top 5.
I went over and congratulated Holly, and then I think I saw Najibi finish and then kind of was like, okay, well, I guess we're done. It's a little different when you take second than when you take first. There's no, you know, cameras in your face.
A couple mantras. One was, you can.
Honestly, I was probably happier with my race at that point than most of the people around me were.
even though I didn't do what I wanted to do, I still felt like I kind of proved something to myself. Just even finishing the race, knowing that I tried and didn't give up, and I even sprinted in, which that was the hardest sprint of my life.
Denali will win the race someday. She'll probably win it multiple times. I know she will. Everybody knows she will. There's no doubt about it. 12th place was good enough for this year.
There were 9 women under an hour. That's huge. That is huge this year in those conditions. And hopefully next year there's some live coverage of the women's race. Wow.
I saw the planned coverage and, you know, oh, everyone's going live at 2:30. And I'm like, 2:30? That's a couple hours after my race will be done.
And I know quite a few people watch Mountain Marathon, even if they don't pay attention to any other mountain races, but the men's race tends to be the most exciting.
In general, boys are usually faster than girls, but I mean, I've proved that that's not always the case.
I mean, we have women go there and pay $500 to $800 for their bibs, and their race has to be streamed, and there are no major highlights. It's just Holly finishing. Kidding me?
My mom was one of the first women to race Mount Marathon. If this were the Boston Marathon, she would have been the first woman to race. A lot of these lands that are pioneer lands, they have a much richer history of women breaking off and doing what they feel like they should be doing.
When they ran with the men years ago, some of the men didn't always like it that a woman was passing them, and sometimes they didn't move.
Saying that a guy got chicked, I guess it's an insult to him, but it's also kind of an insult to girls, like saying that it's such a shame for a girl to beat you.
I think for my mom, she didn't feel like she was doing anything incredible. She just felt like she was being herself. And social norms are never gonna tell her to do otherwise.
Let's face it, a guy or a gal that's taken 2 hours to do it, they are working just as hard as I am. They're doing everything I'm doing. They are killing themselves, but they're doing it for 2 hours, whereas I'm doing it for an hour.
It's just pure athleticism. It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. It's just go get it. Something's missing. It's like not giving it my all, felt like I didn't pay my dues or my respect to my fellow competitors or to the mountain.
You can always look back and think, you know, how can I pick up 2 seconds? But I can also look back and think of a lot of other ways that I could have run the race and added an extra minute.
I am satisfied with my race because I made my goal of top 3 and I made my goal of not being injured. So I am satisfied. I'm also not satisfied. That's why I look so forward to doing this again.
I'm not going to give up. And I think maybe that's why I don't feel like a failure. Is like, I can do something on this mountain, and I'm going to do something on this mountain.
Like I told her, you need to finish the race knowing there was nothing else you could have done, knowing you did everything you could on that day. If you can honestly say that to yourself, right on, life is good in the midnight sun. I'll take it.
Before there was pictures, before there
I lost a race, but I didn't get beat because I gave it everything I had. Those other people did an incredible thing that day too. Just because they didn't win the race didn't mean that they didn't win. They clearly won in their own lives.
People have been wearing their finisher t-shirts around, and you know, it's like an automatic association. Or you'll like go up and like touch someone's leg, you know, and they know exactly what you mean. They're like, oh yeah, ow, ow. How's your recovery going?
I had big plans for my weekend. No, I didn't do anything except sit in the river and try to ice my legs. You never ever think, maybe I shouldn't do this race because I won't be able to walk properly for 4 days.
Yeah. Okay. We can toast to a lot of things. To 77 degrees and surviving it just barely.
Yeah, there you go.
Earlier, about 5 minutes ago, Strable told me that it looked like I was a race walker towards the finish. No, I don't take any offense. I really respect honesty, and I that's how I felt.
Wait a minute, wait.
It's hard to come up to Alaska for, you know, such a long time to train for a 5K race, but in all reality, you almost have to in order to run well.
I'm trying to.
Wait, we got Ricky Gage showing up.
Yeah, I'll be back at some point.
Thinking about next year's race and going all the way up the mountain, like, it intimidates me, and I know that it's gonna be a huge challenge, but like I was saying about the allure of the race, that's what's great about it, is how much of a challenge it is.
It'll be interesting to see if her college coaches let her do the race. You know, she's such a talented runner that, you know, I think she could probably go to school wherever she wants to go.
I think that it will be exciting to be in a different place and experiencing new things, but I don't think you realize how deep your roots are here until you leave, how much you love all those little things about Alaska. I won't realize how much I'll miss it until I actually leave.
I think Holly really has to look out for Christy. I think Christy had a not so great uphill, and you throw in a stronger uphill, like 1.5 minutes faster to 2 minutes, which is what Holly had gapped her, and add in her 12-minute descent, and even potential snowfield year, 11.5-minute descent, might be looking at a record.
July 6th was when I talked your ear off. I woke up and I was like, I got it. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna change everything. I'm gonna change my original plan. Originally I was supposed to go back to the track, try to get back down to California, steeplechase, but the track will be there in 2 years. So I'm gonna work on mountain running and follow Eric. Maybe he can teach me a couple things about racing the mountain, hopefully. So next year, I am definitely not going back to the track like planned. I am gonna be full-blown mountain.
Yeah, she can't get married next year. She's not allowed to get married until she wins the damn thing as a fall day.
Yeah, I'm cheerleader. Short of having the pom-poms out there.
I have pom-poms.
I'll follow her around, cheering her for whatever she's doing.
I don't know how to duplicate the no nerves setting that I had in that race. I'd love to do it again. I have a race coming up in 3 days in Pennsylvania. It's on NBC, and I wish I couldn't be nervous, but I know that if I win that race, it's a heck of a lot cooler because I get a lot more sponsorships when I win.
I was able to win this race because I love what I do, and what I do is I spend time outside, and you know, to me it's not about the numbers or the victories or the losses or anything like that. It's just about the lifestyle. So I'm just really excited to go train hard once my legs have fully recovered.
I don't think that it's ever really over. I think once the racing and once the mountain is in your blood, like it's in your blood, and that's why people do it so many years. Because it never really is over.
At the awards ceremony, when they're handing out like the 20 year in a row running the race, like 30 years in a row, it just makes me think, like, how many years am I going to do this? Is this going to be like part of my life every year, all through my life?
The Eagle has landed. All right.
No, I never touch the mountain without gloves on. I pay every time I have. I don't know if I said it the other day, I think I might have, but like my first trip up to the top every year at about 3/4, I find myself standing there yelling at the top of my lungs, "I'm back!" You know, and the mountain answers me. I don't know how to describe what that means, but the mountain answers me. It says, yeah, you are.
At me, and I see on neon no vacancy, but it's just like love to block my view. My heart is my home, and my heart is with you. When you get tired of working at the company store, hold tight to the roof, build you a floor, and get down on one knee and ask for your hand. But you never know if you never ask. No. Even if you do, the good don't last. It becomes a crime, well, it becomes